What would life be without comedy? I'm here to review 21 Jump Street. Okay, so we start off with two high school kids named Schmidt, played by Jonah Hill, and Jenko, played by Channing Tatum. So these two high school kids are enemies. Jonah Hill's the smart one, Channing Tatum's the stronger and the more popular one, but gets F's. He's gonna be prom king, but can't go to the prom because he failed all of his classes. So they said, "You are about to pay the piper." And he's like, "I should pay who? You're not going to the prom." So he was gonna be prom king, but he couldn't go. So then Jonah Hill tried to ask a hot girl out, and she said, "I don't know how to put this nicely." And he said, and Channing Tatum's like, "There's not a nice way to put it. You're a fucking nerd, and she's hot." But so 7 years later, he applies for the police academy. Then Janko's like, "Not so Slim Shady. What's up? Holy shit!" It was funny. And then they got into the fight, so you realize that Channing Tatum's the stronger one. And he's like, "You're really good at this, aren't you?" Or, "You're good at this, aren't you?" And then Channing Tatum's like, "Yeah, I am." Looks at his test results and said F, and he's like, "Such bullshit." Then you look at, it's like 37. It says such bullshit. Then you look at Jonah Hill's and it says 100A, and he's like, "You're good at this." And he said, "Yeah, I am. Hey, you want to be friends?" So they started becoming friends, training together. So then Channing Tatum would get better grades and everything. And then they became police officers. And they said, "Don't feed the ducks." Then they finally found people who were doing drugs, and then they were going to arrest them. But Channing Tatum couldn't tell him his morality right, so he said, this. So he went, you have the right to suck my dick, motherfucker." But then they dropped the charges because he forgot to say the morality rights, or the whatever you call them, the rights, so he couldn't do it. And then he went out to then they went to 21 Jump Street. Then they found out it was an undercover. So then they had to find out what a drug was. So Ice Cube is the drug, he's in charge of 21 Jump Street. He runs 21 Jump Street. So then they find out that they're going to be high schoolers. So Schmidt's name is now Doug, and Channing Tatum is now Brad, even though they had the wrong identities. And then they said stick with a one strap. They had a nice car, and then this is what Channing Tatum said: "Do the one strap." And he's like, "Because that's the way you sound cool. That's the way you're cool." But the thing you know is that Channing Tatum was held back 2 years, so Jenko was held back 2 years. He said, "Forget those identities. They're bullshit." He said, "I was held back a year." And he said, You were held back 2 years." And he said, "Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt my feelings," or something like that. Then they went to school, and then everyone was two-strapping it except for Channing Tatum, because Jonah Hill put two straps on later. But then he said, "You punch them in the face if they stand up to you." And he said, "Who you calling nerd, man?" That's what one guy said to Channing Tatum. And he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" Bam! And he punched a gay kid. He said, "I was gay when you punched me." And then they went to class, and then they had the wrong identity. So he said, "You have the wrong identities, dumbass." That's what Schmidt said, because then he got his class. He was in drama. And he said, "I suck at drama. It's girly." It was so fucking funny. This movie is fucking funny. Pardon my language. And then they did it all. They were doing all their classes, and then they find out a drug. So Doug or Schmidt has this little crush on a girl called Molly, and then they ran out. They were doing the drug that Eric, the guy earlier, he didn't punch him, but he was friends with the black kid who Channing Tatum punched. Not trying to sound racist, but he was the gay black kid in the movie. Not trying to sound racist, but then they took the drug and they tried to finger each other's mouths so they'd throw up, but then they just gagged, so then they had to do it all, and Channing Tatum's writing something all over the board, and then Jonah Hill does his little thing. He can do his drama perfectly when he's Peter Pan, and then later he goes up to he does the track meet, and they're like, McQuaid! He throws batons, knocks batons out of other people's hands, and Channing Tatum's like, bam, 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 on the drums and everything, and on the cymbals, on the thing. And then they want to host a party so they can get the drug that could go viral. But they don't know the supplier. The funny thing is, they were blowing on their teacher because one, Channing Tatum saw him turn into a cat, and it was hallucinating, and then Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill saw him turn into ice cream, and he was sticking his tongue out and said, I don't like that, put your tongue back in your mouth. The way he's doing that. Yeah, it was fucking funny. This is one of my favorite movies. And then they're like playing, number 2 was, then they wanted to host a party, but then they showed, and Ice Cube's like, who made this? Are you autistic? It is artistic. Autistic and artistic are different. Autistic means you have autism disability. Artistic means it's nice. Then the girl said, you guys did really great. Like, you could do any better. They brought down thugs, and then one girl said, a black girl, not to sound racist, she went, meanwhile, you two were standing around finger popping each other's assholes, and then Channing Tatum or Jonah Hill made fun of her, saying, we're not finger popping each other's assholes. We're doing is getting shit done. So what Channing Tatum did was he hung around with the nerds, and Jonah Hill hung around with the cool guys, so he got the party going. And so they're having the party with everything going on, and alcohol and cocaine, I think, and drugs. And then some guys coming from another high school came in and were getting up in Eric's face, and then Jonah Hill came up to him and told him that he was at the party and he wanted to find peace. And then he said, it's getting hot in here. And he's like, oh no, it's getting real. And he's like, it's getting very real. It's like, and it's like, true story or something. And he's like, you want real world? Yeah, let's do it, man. Here's real world. What's your real? And he punched him. And then Channing Tatum's like, what was that? You hear that? And he's like, Schmidt, oh, Doug, what am I doing? Channing Tatum's like, hit him! And then Channing Tatum's like, bam! And Jonah Hill's like, bam! And he said, it hurt worse than when he hit me. And then Channing Tatum's just like, bam! 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 He's like beating up all of, what's that guy's name? Scott's friends. And and Jonah Hill's only fighting Scott. And then they're playing this little slap thing. Then he gets kicked in the nuts by it. Then Jonah Hill kicked him in the nuts, and then they were punching more, and then he grabbed the vase and said, this is my mom's vase. And he said, fuck your mom's vase. And he said, fuck this, and then smashed it against his head. And then it knocked him out, and he went, yeah! And then he got stabbed. So they had him bite a lemon and then pour the vodka all over him. Yeah, and they lived in his parents' house since they're brothers in the movie now. And then they ran out when the parents came, and then they got busted because it says, I Heart Dick or something else. So then Schmidt, or Jonah Hill, was playing undercover. Schmidt was, and he brought in the drugs to Ice Cube, and he's like, great job, Schmidt. And he was finding out everything else. Then Channing Tatum got the cue to Eric's iPhone or cell phone. So he wiretapped the phone, and then they were hanging out, and they were finding out everything, and then they see these guys at the park that they arrested earlier, that they tried to arrest earlier in the movie. But then they blew up everything, and then in a car chase, messed up Peter Pan, so Molly didn't want to talk to Jonah Hill ever again. Then they got kicked out of Jump Street. And then Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill's friendship broke apart because they were fighting on the stage when Jonah Hill was playing Peter Pan. Then they expelled both of them, and then they were done. They got expelled, and then they got kicked out of Jump Street, and then Jonah Hill's like moving out, and he said, and then Channing Tatum went, yep. You know what's crazy? To me, I thought that we, you know what's crazy to me? To me, I actually thought that we were brothers. I would have taken a bullet for you. And then Eric came and picked him up and said, get in the car. Get in the fucking car. No, not tell you yes nicely. Please get in the car. Then they found out that, then Eric didn't know they were cops yet, but he knew that they were getting chased by cops, but he didn't want to be raped in jail. But then they go to prom, and then they finally met the guys at the park again. And then you find out the supplier is the teacher they met when they were on drugs, played by Rob Riggle, who I've known from the movie The Other Guys, which is kind of like this, because it's like two cops, friends like Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg would be, and this time it's Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. Rob Riggle's been in a few Will Ferrell movies, and then all the guys from the park came, and then he said, hey kid, come here, to Jonah Hill, and said, you look familiar. And then he was saying that he was a French fry commercial, and he said, do I look like I eat French fries? You look like you're in great shape. Maybe you have a carb diet. And he said, nah. And he said, theme song is, come to Angel French Fries. And then he said, theme song is, come to Angel's French Fries, or something like that. And then they were singing. Then they went to, then Molly came knocking on the door, said, I'm gonna kill you, you fucking stupid cop. And he said, hey guys, she's calling me a stupid fucking cock. That's rude. Then she said, dickhead, narc, motherfucker. And then Channing Tatum said, did she just say nickhead, dark motherfucker? That's just racist. And he said, I know these two. Your boys are cops. And then they're like, please get on the ground. He's like, you get on the fucking ground. We ask you first. I don't care. And Channing, and then they said that to Eric, and then he said that they're cops, and he said, police, get on the ground. You get on the fucking ground. We asked you first. I don't give a damn. And they said, you're fucking cops. We partied together. You brought us Taco Bell. And he said, Eric, that was a sincere gesture. He said, you made me this friendship bracelet. But he's not really a friend. He was pretending the whole time. So then they dropped the guns and kicked him over because they were going to kill Molly. And then they were going to get a guy to shoot him. And he said, oh, come on, that's unfair. We put our guns down in good faith. Channing Tatum said that. Then Jonah Hill said, you're a liar and you're mean. And then one of the guys was going to come over and shoot him, but then he took off his disguise. It was Johnny Depp and then his best friend. And then they were all saying that they were Jump Street. He said, no, man, we know what it's like to be undercover. He said, Metro Police Jump Street Division, something like that. He said, you guys are Jump Street? Yeah, that's funny because we were actually Jump Street. What? Then Johnny Depp got shot in the neck and killed, and so did his partner. But then they were shooting at the other people, and then Eric and Mr. Walters and Molly were escaped, and then so did the guys at the park. But then they ran after them. Some of them, not all of them, made it out because Jonah Hill was shooting at the ceiling, and then he threw his gun, and Channing Tatum shot too, and then they were in a car chase, and then Channing Tatum knew what to do. He shook up a tequila bottle and stuff, alcoholic bottle, and he pushed a girl out of the car because a girl wanted to suck his dick when he was trying to shoot someone. And then he threw a covalent bomb, and it blew up in the car. He said, "What's this? Tequila? I don't know. It's supposed to explode." Then it exploded. It was a covalent bomb. And he said, "Where'd you learn how to do that? Ab chemistry, bitch." And then he said, then they shot Channing Tatum. He's like, "You shot my partner." That's what the teacher did. Then they said, "I didn't mean to shoot him. I meant to shoot him." He said, "Don't move." And then he said, "You got this. You can do it." And then Jonah Hill had back flashes of him being a loser and choking when he's trying to shoot. And he asked Molly to prom, and she wasn't too happy with him, but yeah, she wanted to go to prom with him. She wasn't too happy when he messed up on the stage and screwed it up, but he said, "You peaked in high school, motherfucker." And then he shot Mr. Walters in the dick, and he said, "Oh shit, I shot him in the dick." And he's like, "You shot me in the dick! Ah!" And they're like, yes, you are under arrest." And he said, "I think it came out my asshole. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford to an attorney, one will be appointed for you." And they said everything, and then Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum said how much they loved each other and became friends. Then Eric and Mr. Walters went to jail. Then Jonah Hill said, "There are people who aren't assholes like me." And she said, "Thanks for saving my life, asshole." Then he and her kissed, and then they walked off, and they came into the jump street and went, "Boom, motherfucker!" Channing Tatum had his arm in a sling, I think, to protect. And then he kissed a girl, and then he said, "Great job, you something motherfuckers. You got your first arrest." So then they're gonna go to college. But he made an arrest report. Alright, here we go. So all in all, this is a really funny movie. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's probably my favorite comedy movie by now. And I'm going to tell you, I just saw the second one. It's the same as the first one. It's not as good, but it's still funny. I think the first one takes it all. But yeah, it was still good and funny. Good. I'd like to say thank you for watching. And check out the second one in theaters. I just saw it today on opening day. Alright. Well, anyway, stay up to date and subscribe. Alright, bye. Peace. And check out this movie. It's funny. If you don't watch this, you don't know what you're missing. If you don't watch the second one, you don't know what you're missing. It's still funny, but not as good as this one. Usually it's the first one that does the best. Alright. Thank you for watching. Alright, bye. Peace.